We're looking at number 8 here, and right away I notice that it's in standard form. So when I do that, I'm gonna just find my intercepts. That's the easiest way when it's in standard form. So I'm gonna find my x-intercept. And by doing that, I'm going to replace the y value with 0. So 4x minus 2 times 0 equals negative 1. We've got 4x equals negative 1. And I get x to equal negative 1/4. I'm going to put that coordinate up here and keep that. Now when we do the intercept method, we have to find both intercepts. So now I'm going to find the y-intercept, and that's when I'll replace x with 0. So I've got negative 2y equals negative 1, divided by negative 2, divided by negative 2, and I got a y-intercept of 1/2. So that point will look like 0, 1/2. So when I look at my coordinate plane here, all of these, they're marked off by 1. Now, I can change the scale of these by putting in a key and then underneath just saying that 1 mark equals 1/4. And I chose 1/4 because I had negative 1/4 and I had 1/2. But I know that 1/2 would just be 2 spots. So over 2 spaces. So now I can plot my points. I have negative 1/4, so that means I just go over 1 spot. And then I've got 0, 1/2, so that means I'll just go up 2, because we said over here, we said that 1 tick mark was equal to 1/4. So here I went 0, negative 1/4, and here, or negative 1/4, 0, sorry. And here I went over 0, up 1/2, which is 1/4 plus 1/4. Then the next step I have to do, the last and final step, is just draw a line through that. Go through those points. That was a bad line. That's as close as I can get here on the iPad. But I don't forget my arrows on the end either. And there you go. On this problem, I see here again that this one is in standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and find my intercepts. I find the x-intercept by replacing y with 0. So I've got 6x plus 4 times 0 equals 24. And I've got 6x equals 24. Divide by 6. And I get x equals 4. So that our x-intercept is 4, so I've got 4, 0 for that point to plot. And then to find my y-intercept, I replace x with 0. So I've got 6 times 0 plus 4y equals 24. I'm going to rewrite that for you. 24. So then that comes down to 4y equals 24. Divide by 4. And I get y is equal to 6. So that point I can graph as 0, 6. Then I go over to my graph. I plot those 2 points. So we've got 4, 0. And we've got 0, 6. Those are those intercepts. It goes through the y-axis, and it goes through the x-axis, and then again I make another line. And then I add my arrows on the end. There you go. That's how to graph the line. That's easy peasy. Lastly, we're looking at number 9 here. And this one, it's not quite standard form looking at it, but I can easily make this into standard form. And I'll do that by just minusing 6 from both sides. So I'll have 3x plus 2y equals negative 6. Now that's the standard form I've seen before. So then I'll set up my x-intercept. And my y-intercept. With my x-intercept, again, I'm replacing the y here with 0. So I've got 3x plus 2 times 0 equals negative 6. 3x equals negative 6, divide by 3, divide by 3. And I've got x equals negative 2. So my x-intercept is going to be at negative 2, 0. Then over here on the right-hand side, when I find my y-intercept, I'm going to replace the x with 0. So I've got 3 times 0 plus 2y equals negative 6. I've got 2y equals negative 6. Divide by 2, divide by 2. And then I get y equals negative 3. So that point becomes 0, negative 3. Because my ordered pairs, it's x comma y. But it's going through the axis, so it'll be, the y value will be 0 for this one, and the x value will be 0 for this one, because those are those axes. Now when I go to plot these points, I've got negative 2, 0 right here, and I've got 0, negative 3 right here, and then my last move is always to draw that line. And put the arrows on the end, because it goes on forever. But there's that graph of that line.